power to intervene. They don't really have power to really prosecute people in that area. However, the fact remains that their responsibility, as their name implies, is competitive. So they want a competitive environment whereby if you are bringing your goods, you should display your price. Let it be competitive and let the supermarket not cheat Nigerians. I think that's what they are doing. Though we expect them to bite further. When you have an act, you can also apply to do more, because most of those people that are actually doing what is not normal. Remember, private business want to maximize profit, except government are actually looking at them and watching them. So I think they are on the right track, but they should have more power to actually go beyond maybe cautioning them to do other things. And that's what actually happened at Chinese supermarket as well.
Who aside this agency doing this now, what do you think gave the supermarkets and the story we got a report as regards what's happening in Lipuju, where a school says they can only admit Indians, or only Indians are allowed? What gives those foreigners that leverage to be able to do such a thing in Nigeria?
Right.
Because we know in other climes this is next to impossible for it to occur.
Well, I think the law is evolving, so we must look at that. Maybe there's a lacuna in Nigerian law that they're actually taking advantage. And that's why government also need to come and have a proclamation that any non-Nigerian should stop Nigerians from patronizing their school or supermarket. But the thing is, it's quite very funny that in our soil in Nigeria, you give a condition that it's only your own citizen that will actually apply. I can tell you, even many areas where they stay, where some people stay, some expatriates, they don't allow Nigerians to even come around close to that place. Not only even, but for school, I think that's quite bad. In fact, if there's no curriculum you want, and you don't see, you have British curriculum, we have American curriculum, which is universal, because I'm sure even the Indians also follow the British curriculum. So I think that's where we need to work. And beyond even FCCPC, there are some sector regulators. That's where another issue is, because we are leaving everything to FCCPC. Now, where is Ministry of Education? This is their core responsibility. They are supposed to make sure they do something about. So, Ministry of Education are supposed to regulate that no institution should have a discriminatory approach or policy to anyone in Nigeria. So I think that's the responsibility of Ministry of Education. So if FCCPC maybe is exposing them, it is the right of Ministry of Education to say, okay, let us even see your curriculum that you said it's for only English. We are not saying that you shouldn't have a special courses that will take care of people from India, because you may have some culture you want to teach them, but you wouldn't say no. There should not be, Nigerians. Does it mean Nigerians constitute a nuisance? Does it mean we are bringing negative externalities to them? They have to explain that to Ministry of Education. I think that's a bad one.
All right. Aside the government, let's look at private sector. What roles can the private sector also play? Like, you're into save the consumer.
Right.
As a consultant and someone who is into this sphere, what are the rules and policies? The standard operating practices of consumers as regards to them, getting services, goods and services.
Right. I think we have some basic consumer protection 8 rules or so, which one of them is right to choice. So that means that right to choice has covered every Nigerian, that you can seek for whatever you want, in as much as you have the capacity to actually pay. And right to information, right to choice, right to information, even right to complain, like this one that just happened. It's people that actually, so if you want to operate in Nigeria, you must also consider the consumer right, that gives room for consumer to be able to patronize you in as much as they are in Nigeria, and they have the capacity to afford what you wouldn't say, no, I discriminate you, because just like what happened at a Chinese supermarket, which is so bad approach. In fact, up to now, that place is sealed. The condition is that the Linda Bailey also, Cindy, thank you, Cindy Liu Bay also, who owns the supermarket, you must show up at FCCPC, explain why you decide to discriminate Nigerians before you can have it opened. And up to now, I'm not sure she has gone there.
The report says that she has,
flew.
She flew with the members of her family. Doesn't that make it more suspicious?
Right. That simply means that there's something she's actually hidden. I think Nigerians should take it beyond her, because if you look at that place, it's China Chambers of Commerce. So who actually headed that place? That person could be called for to answer. Then they also have ambassador in Nigeria who should answer to Nigerians. So these are the things. So if she has free or something, it does not stop Nigerians from also still getting to caution her and every other thing. So I think for her fleeing is not a problem. That place will remain sealed until if the head of the Chambers of Commerce coming to FCCPC or the ambassador himself. But I can also tell you that, do you know China actually have 2 Chambers of Commerce in Nigeria? Do you know that simply means, when we say Chambers of Commerce, simply means where you can do trade without being taxed. That's what it simply means. How many countries in Africa have Chambers of Commerce in China? And that's a contradiction. So I think we have to start looking at this opportunity we are giving to them. Though they may be second or third country that we actually trade with, but they should also have that consciousness to respect Nigeria rights, to also respect our culture, to respect our people, and respect our law. And part of respecting our law is for her to submit herself to FCCPC.
Are you worried that somewhere along the line that place might reopen without her coming to the FCCPC? Because now we know what happens behind the scene when the envoy meets the Nigerian government, and before you know it, a reason is given, and the place is reopened without her answering certain very vital questions. But for you as a consultant, what will be the key questions or the information that will be needed from her when she visits the FCCPC?
For me, I think it's pretty difficult for them to open that place, because we're in a global world now where people get their information through different sources. In fact, I can tell you, even before FCCPC approached that place, we've seen different people trying to approach the market. I know the Nigerian push more. So for now, I think there is no shortcut for them. They have to follow the due process, and to be undermining FCCPC if they actually open that place without coming to FCCPC to give us reasons. And we are also open to the reasons. I can tell I'm on FCCPC discussant platform, which I engage their staff and their head of operations. So we will be we'll be watching out for what happens.
What are the key things you have noticed in your interaction with the FCCPC in terms of the challenges they also face in carrying out their duties?
Well, they have a surveillance department, which is headed by Adibola Dale. What I think is this: we have sector regulators, which is the major problem. When you say FCCPC is general, they protect consumer rights, but this also border more on a particular area. Maybe in terms of investigation, FCCPC cannot investigate. It is still police that will investigate. So these other stakeholders are the major problem. They must come together and cooperate with FCCPC so that FCCPC can actually really do what they're supposed to do. I can tell you FCCPC is committed to do what they're supposed to do when it comes to issue of consumer protection, especially with the coming of a Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Council. They have much more robust. In fact, they have a tribunal where they can even try cases. So they have a robust power to do a lot of things.
Okay, for the Nigerians who have been discriminated against, now we saw that also. Remember the KFC issue,
right,
with the person living with disability.
Exactly, in Lagos Airport.
Yeah, and this